Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a monthly review, monthly breakdown of how I spent all my money in the month of May. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Tina. I'm a registered dental hygienist in the state of Minnesota. I'm a new grad. I graduated in July 2025. Nope, that's not true. I started working in July of 2025, but I graduated in May of 2025. So still considered a new grad. And I budget my money pretty regularly on the channel. Previously, what I did mostly was temp dental hygiene, which is kind of like a substitute teacher. That's kind of what patients know it as. Basically filling in at offices when somebody's out on maternity leave or sick or whatever the case may be. Every time I get paid, I come and do my payday routine and I budget the money that I got in YNAB. YNAB is a budgeting software. It's zero-based budgeting, cashless envelopes. It's just as if when you got paid, let's say you got paid $1,000, you went and got your $1,000 out of an ATM and you divvied up that $1,000 in cash in physical envelopes. You only spend whatever's in each individual envelope for the week. So that's what I do every week. And I kind of made some changes in the month of May. So I want to kind of see how May's budget looked compared to April especially, but still just breaking down what I spent in May. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So briefly looking at April, I did have a little bit lower spending on rent just to begin with because I referred a friend to where I live and I got was it a $500 rent credit? I gave her $100, so my rent was about $400 less than what it normally is. I bundle in rent, parking, water, trash because it all comes on one bill. I pay, I think it's $18.17 per month for my rent and I pay $150 for my parking spot. So the rest of that left over is water and trash. Right off the bat, we spent more this month in May because I didn't get that credit. The next two are basically the same: medication, federal taxes. Now, federal taxes is a bill that I had. I didn't pay my taxes for a couple years and then I'm on a payment plan to pay it off. I was in dental hygiene school and really stupidly, do not recommend, 0 out of 10. I just was like, I'm not gonna file because I can't pay it, which is not the way that works. You have to file your taxes, you have to pay them. But whatever, it's not a big deal. I pay $300 a month. That just started recently and I will be paid off whenever I'm paid off. I don't really know. But it will be really nice when I am paid off because an extra, quote unquote, extra $300 a month is nothing to sneeze at. Now, clothing for this month is $261.16, and that's way more than I spent in April. I basically didn't spend any money on clothing in April, if I'm not mistaken. I don't buy a lot of clothes. I'm buying a lot of clothes this month in May because I'm going on a cruise in about 2 weeks at this point. I mean, every time I go on vacation, I buy new clothes. I mean, I think this shirt is like new, but I decided to not, save the clothes for the cruise. It is a 7-day cruise, but it's warming up here in Minnesota and, short sleeves, whatever. But I've been buying, returning stuff. This number is still not 100% accurate. There are going to be still some returns in progress. As a matter of fact, I took something to return today. So this amount will definitely change. But right now we spent $261.16 on clothes, which is 5% of my total spending. Now, one of the categories that I am most proud about, most happy about is my fund money is $252.40. Now, there is a case to be made that clothing should be included in fund money, right? Because another way to think of fund money is guilt-free spending. I kind of try to loosely follow the Ramit Sethi's version of, or the philosophy of kind of dividing up your paycheck. Ramit's whole thing is 20 to 35% of your money, pay, whatever, is guilt-free spending. I don't like the name guilt-free spending. I really don't feel guilt about anything I spend, so I just named it fund money. But there is a case to be made that clothing should be in fund money. But like I said, I don't spend money on clothing. That's not something that I'm doing every month, so I'm counting it separately. Maybe if I start spending money on clothing more regularly or just becomes a problem, I may start counting that as fund money. But like I was saying, I spent $285 on fund money last month in April. And this month I only spent $252, which is great. I started a savings challenge this month. If you haven't yet joined, there are trackers you can download in the description box. They're totally free. I'm trying to save 1K in 3 months and I'm over halfway there, even though I just started the challenge on April 27th. I'm super proud of myself. And part of what I was trying to do to save money was cut money in other places. I had like a really nasty matcha latte habit, a croissant habit, a Culver's habit, and I've done a really good job of curbing that, if I do say so myself. I mean, to be fair, it's only what, a $30 difference, $252 versus $285. So it's not like a huge difference, but it is a difference and it is an improvement. And if I'm improving, that's really half the battle. I will also say that there should be, in between each of these, as far as spending, there should be my $250 deposit into my high yield savings account. But the way YNAB works is all your money basically goes into one pot. So YNAB, it doesn't care that my money's in a high yield savings account and it's in a checking account and it's in a savings account. It just knows I have a pool of money. So when I transferred $250 in April to my high yield savings account, and I did the same in May, there was no spending. It was just a transfer. So that $250 should be right around here if you want to see it reflected on my spending breakdown, which again, it's not really spending, but I thought it is important because, you know, saving $250 a month is, for me, that's really good. When I opened the account, I did not do anything with it. I think I opened it in February and I didn't do anything with it until April. So I feel really proud of that. Moving on to health insurance. Again, that's kind of one of the things that is a fixed cost. That's the same every month. It's gonna be right there. Same with the renters and car insurance, $183.09. I did check with my agent. I don't know if it was April that I emailed her, but I did email her asking if there were any lower rates. She checked around, there was nothing lower. So I am paying the cheapest I can pay for my renters and my car insurance, $148.47. The reason it was cheaper this month is because I had a gift card. And when I get gift cards and stuff like that are kind of small amounts or random amounts, I kind of just like to put the whole balance towards a bill. So that way I'm not, you know, going to buy a matcha latte, spending $5.28, and then you have a balance of $4 in change left on a gift card and you have to figure out how to spend it. I would just rather put the whole $10 towards the bill and then you pay less for the bill. So the renters and car did not go down. It was $183.09. That's the cost before any type of, you know, gift card finagling. So now we're kind of getting into the stuff that's a little bit more variable. So groceries, I'm single, I'm child free, it's just me. I looked at the USDA, was it like, I don't know the right word for the website, but it's basically like thrifty food plan, moderate food plan, things like that. And it basically said, if you're like a party of one, spending $300 a month is thrifty. And then, or maybe that is even like less than thrifty, maybe there's something below that. And then they took you all the way up to, I wanna say like $475. So I said, hey, if I spend $300 a month, that's good. That's, you know, the lowest amount that the USDA says that a house of one should spend to kind of be like, you know, whatever. I don't even know really what it means, but that's just what I set as a goal for myself. So that's the overall goal, but there's no like weekly goal. I just go get the groceries I want and then I put them in here week by week and then I see how much I spent. Let's go to groceries all together because in May, we spent $136.68 on groceries in the third week of the month. But let's see what I spent on groceries only just to kind of compare those. Okay, so we have 4 categories there. Let's do the same thing here. Select none, Good Eats. Y'all remember Good Eats? That show was so good. I think it came back a couple times, but I never really watched the reboots. Food Network was like, oh, my crack cocaine when I was a little kid. I love Food Network. Anyhow, okay, so in April, last month, I spent a total of $351.02 on groceries, which is still very good. And I consider groceries food that I get from the grocery store and then I come home and like put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer for later. If I go and I get a salad from the cold case or a sandwich and I go eat that right away, for me, that's not groceries. For me, that's fun money because I think, you know, if I had of just packed a lunch or thought ahead, I wouldn't be buying this convenience food, which is how I look at it, and eating it now. I would be getting groceries, putting them in the fridge for later. So on groceries, $351.02, which, you know, very good. I'm happy about that. This month I spent less, $307.75, which is really nice. Again, it really doesn't matter how much I spend per week, especially because I'm really loosey-goosey. I do a lot of moving money around. One of the tenets of YNAB is, you know, you roll with the punches, and I do a lot of that. I will assign money here and move it around or not assign it and overspend it, which is not great. It's not really the right way to use it. And by the way, if you want to get a free trial to YNAB, you can check the pinned comment below. You can get a month for free, no credit card required. It's actually a 34-day free trial, no credit card required. And then if you decide to subscribe, you'll get a free month, as will I if you use my link. So check that out if you're interested. I love YNAB. I've been using it for a while consistently. I think I started doing these budget with me payday routines back in November-ish. So I've been using it consistently and I really enjoy it. That being said, I might just start making groceries one pile of money because it doesn't matter what week I spend it in, but for now, that's how it's broken down. So I did spend less on groceries this month than I did last month, which I am happy to see. Let's go ahead and get back to the big overview so we can see all of our categories. So back in April, last month, the next biggest would be YNAB. I had to pay for my yearly subscription. It is $109 a year if you decide to subscribe. I believe you can get a monthly subscription for $14.99 a month, if I'm not mistaken. But as with all of these subscriptions, if you subscribe to the annual plan, you're saving money. Now, gas. We all know that gas went up. I paid $107.33 for gas last month in April. However, this month we spent $136.43 on gas, which doesn't feel like that much more. I mean, $30 more. What I mean is it felt like a lot more in person. Like every time I would fill up, it would be like almost $70, over $70. It was like, what the hell? Let's see, because did I? Yeah, $71 for gas on the 7th, and that lasted me until the 27th, and then I spent $65.27 on gas. Last month, and look, $49 and $58. So quite a big difference there. The reason I didn't go to Sam's Club this time is because this gas station actually had a cheaper price than Sam's, which is kind of strange. I passed out that gas station today. They have the same price today that they did on the 27th. It was $3.99. I think they're probably holding at $3.99 because they know that you'll just go there. That's the way this gas station used to be. Does everybody have a gas station in town like that? Let me know in the comments. There's like a gas station that has the cheap prices. This used to be called BP. It's at 36 in Lindale in Minneapolis, and it always had the cheapest gas. But then for a while, like Sam's Club was actually cheaper, and maybe other places as well. So, you know, I have a membership for the gas. Mostly I also get cheese from there, little cheese snacks. Speaking of, I need to re-up. But, you know, if it turns out that this 36 Lin starts having cheaper gas, I might be convinced to give up my Sam's Club membership. I do get a discount. I think I pay $20 a year, but still, I mean, if the gas isn't cheaper for the cheese only, I mean, you know, I could be convinced. Anyway, PPP and extras. So anything that I buy for work, that's like PPE or similar items, I mark it as PPP and extras. So when I temp, or when I work in general, I like to wear a lab coat that covers me from neck to like knee. It's a full length lab coat. It's not a jacket. I put that over my scrubs because I believe in infection control. I believe that aerosols are real. I don't want that on me. So I bought 2 coats and I launder them at home. For the longest time, I was using disposable, and I think I was getting disposable because I couldn't find the exact ones that we used in school, which just had some specific features about them that I liked. And then I finally found that they have black lab coats that are very similar to the ones we had in school, and so I went ahead and bought them. I do usually work 3 days a week. However, I only work 2 days in a row. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's off, and then I work Thursday. So worst case scenario, if I'm doing a whole week of temping, on Wednesday, I will just wash. So that way I'll have a lab coat for Thursday, or I could just use a disposable one if I wanted to. I have like a pack and a half that are still unused. Household goods. Now, this is a category that I really didn't realize was like so out of control, but I bet we're gonna see that it's about the same amount last month, $50, which is so crazy to me. This month though, we spent $76.28, which is crazy. I bought a shower caddy, I returned a seat cushion, I bought some gloves, like nitrile gloves, like when I use a Clorox wipe, I put on like gloves, kind of like the gloves you see in a dental office, like latex gloves, but they're not really latex, they're nitrile. Is that how you say the word? I don't know. Anyhow, just lots of seat cushions, trying to find the one that works for me. But actually that's another thing that I returned today. So I think I'm getting $33.99 back in the budget from that. So I guess it's kind of around the $50 or maybe even a little bit less. And I bought 24 rolls of toilet paper, a spray bottle because I use vinegar and water to like clean my vegetables and fruit. I don't know if there's any like science behind that, but rather than just, you know, rinsing them underwater and scrubbing them, I like spray the vinegar water on there and scrub them. So miscellaneous, this is actually under my career section. Let me see, did I buy any miscellaneous stuff last month? I guess not. The rest of stuff in April, I mean, as you can see, I spent way less money in April. I spent $3,600 and then I spent $4,800 this month. Some of that is down to the rent, right? $2,000 versus $1,500, that's $500 right there. But even still, that is over $1,000 difference. So there's $500 more that had to come from somewhere. I mean, as you can tell though, we got the money, the clothing right there. We have gas, an extra $36. We have extra money for household goods. So, you know, it's not hard to see where that extra quote unquote $500 came from. But for April, the rest of the spending is really just, you know, little bits here and there. Let's jump back to May and see how this differs. So with the miscellaneous, so I did some printing at Office Depot. I printed off some patient planners because I like to, at the beginning of the day, audit my schedule, see the patient's name, see what x-rays they need, see if they have any watches or any outstanding treatment. anything I need to know, I want to write that down on one piece of paper because it makes the rest of the day move faster without me having to search for that information for every single patient while I'm trying to finish up last appointment before I seat them. I also bought a couple of picture frames for my operatory and some organizing containers. I think I did end up using all of them. There might be one that I don't use. I might take back, but I might not. It was like $1.25. I bought a lapel mic. This probably will go back, and also these lapel mic adapters. Basically, I want to, when I'm working, when I do perio charting, which is the gum health measurements, if you've ever heard the dental hygienist be like 323, 323, 424, whatever, I do that by voice because it's a lot more efficient. And I have a headset at my job, but it's like a full-on headset. So I'd rather have a lapel mic that I can just clip to my lab coat and talk into that. It works perfectly. I used it earlier this week. However, I'm not sure that I will need that. I might end up returning them. I may or may not. And then I bought for $4.64 a STL file, which is the file type that 3D printers use. It's like kind of like a business card holder. That's similar, that's the shape of it, but it holds, I use it to hold Post-it notes, and I have it in my operatory. I went to the library and I 3D printed it for free. It was pretty cool. My first 3D printed thing I've ever done. It was really cool. I also bought a malpractice insurance policy because I recently started temping, not using any of the apps, just directly temping with offices. And you don't have to have malpractice insurance as a dental hygienist. However, I want to have malpractice insurance. So I bought that for peace of mind. It's a really good policy. I mean, I think it is $1 million per incident, $6 million annually, $45. And then I needed to print out some things for my temp packet. If you're interested in that, by the way, I did make a video on how you can temp as a W-2 employee, as a dental hygienist without using the apps. You can check that video out above, but I basically printed out all the things I talked about in that video, and that cost 99 cents. Internet, the same, groceries. Let's see what we spent on accessories. I can't imagine what that was. Oh, so I bought some hats and I bought beach bags for my cruise. I bought 2 of each and that cost $46.40. I do not plan on keeping, definitely not both bags, probably not both hats. I tried on one of the hats today and my big ass head can barely fit in it. So that hat is probably going back. The other one is like my big ass head can barely fit. So that one might be going back as well. I'll probably honestly take both of the bags on the cruise and then see like how does it work as far as like the beach towel they have on the cruise. I can't remember how big the towel is on the cruise, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. I just bought them at the end of May, so I have quite a bit of time to return them if need be after the cruise is up. And I bought a purse from Walmart to take on the cruise in case I don't want to wear my crossbody fanny pack, which will not be like appropriate for all occasions, right? Especially like dinner in the main dining room. You don't want to wear a fanny pack. I mean, you can. I don't think anybody's gonna stop me, but I don't want to. Personal care. So I bought some body wash, some moisturizer, some sunscreen, some lip balms that one of them I ended up returning. I don't know why the return is not here. I must have categorized it incorrectly because this rosy Vaseline lip balm I returned, and I did buy also a silk bonnet. I bought like a silk, I guess you call it a do-rag, but I'm thinking of wearing my hair a little different and I need like more space. So I bought a 100% mulberry silk bonnet at the end of the month. This month, I also did spend $40 on 2 tickets for plays. One was $25, the play is next month, and one was $15, the play was this month. It was in Lakeville, which is about 30 minutes away-ish. I think you would describe it as community theater, and I say that respectfully. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I did also get a flyer from this Park Square Theater, which is in St. Paul, for another play in July and in August. I tried to go buy the tickets, but they were not on sale yet, but I am going to see that play. It's called Rope. I think it has a longer name like the original play, but anyhow, it's called Rope. So I'm either gonna pay $15 or $25 depending on what seat I wanna get. This theater, Park Square, did have $15 tickets, but I just thought that the $25 tickets might be a little bit better. They were closer. If I wait until this play to buy the tickets for Rope, I might be able to get a $15 ticket. I might just buy the $25 ticket and, you know, whatever. Because the plan was to go and see what would those $15 tickets actually look like, what would the view look like, and then use that as information. But this play, I believe, is maybe a week before the other play starts. So I don't know how it's gonna go. Wellness, I can't imagine what I spent $36 on wellness. Oh, I got a teeth cleaning at a dental hygiene school here, Herzing. That's one of the things that you might not know if you're a dental hygienist is that we normally don't have dental insurance. So what we do is we get our teeth cleaned at the office we work at. But as a temp, you don't really work at any office, so you can't really get your teeth cleaned. Same with dental work. If you need dental work, when you get a job, that's like included in the job. They just will do your dental work for free. They would charge you like lab fees. So if you wanted like a night guard, you'd have to pay whatever the lab charges to make that night guard or whatever. I did have a permanent office I was working at, but frankly, I didn't want my teeth cleaned by that person. There was only one other hygienist, and I didn't want her to clean my teeth. So I went to the dental hygiene school. I paid $36. And if you know anything about dental hygiene school, it can be a long process. You can have to go for multiple visits, and each visit might be like 3 hours. But the student that cleaned my teeth, I think she said she's graduating this year in September or October. So she was a senior, very good at what she does. I also, not to brag, but I have good oral hygiene, so there was not too much for her to do. I already had x-rays, so it was $36, and I think it took under 2 hours, which again is longer than a normal dental appointment, but a normal dental appointment, if you know what you're being charged, is probably $150 or more. So for me, I'm happy with it. Hair care. So I put $1 over to my Cash App because I was going to try to use Cash App to pay for something, and I always pay the girl who does my hair, I pay her through Cash App. So the dollar is still in Cash App, but I just took it out of hair care. And then I bought like some mousse and some gel. I'm gonna try to do my hair differently. We'll see how it goes if I wanna do that. I also bought some satin scrunchies. Basically, this isn't gonna make sense to a lot of people depending on who's watching this, but I was gonna do like a wash and go. I don't know why they call it a wash and go, because there's nothing wash and go about it. It's wash and then spend like an hour doing your hair. But I will need mousse and gel to kind of like define my curl pattern. And then when I sleep at night, I'm gonna need to like put my hair up so it doesn't get smushed, whatever. So I bought these satin scrunchies, like a pack of 60, I wanna say. And then I don't know what I bought for $10.89 at Amazon on the 29th. That's probably some overspending that I didn't categorize correctly. Scrubs, I bought 2 scrub jackets, but I get reimbursed for those scrub jackets, and I actually already got the check for that. So this will be not spending for this month when you break it down, right? Because it's gonna be a deposit into my account. The rest of the scrub jacket costs came out of Klarna. I did a buy now, pay later, pay in 4. So the rest of that will be coming out of that, and I won't have any of that spending hit my account, which is great. Uncategorized, so Walmart, I spent $37 and then I got $14.99 back. I bought a dress for the cruise and I returned it. It was too big. I rebought it, so the $14.99 did end up coming out of my account. And then $37.09, I'm not exactly sure what that is. Probably more clothing that I bought that I just haven't categorized, which, oops, my bad. Should have done that before I decided to film this video, but I didn't. And then everything else is pretty much the same. You know, Centerpoint, my Energy 1902, which was what, $10 last month, I think, in April. 2001. So very, very close pricing there. Canva, System.io, home maintenance, which was, so I have like this acrylic calendar that I put up that I used to write my temp shifts on it. Now I pretty much just write, you know, anything I have to do, like the play, since it's coming up so far away, I don't want to forget. It is in my Google Calendar, but I want to kind of have it, you know, front of mind, because it's on a Thursday and I work on Thursday, like I mentioned. I don't want to like come home on Thursday and just be chilling and then like the play was going on and I paid for it and I forgot. And then I had to buy another HDMI cord. I just use my laptop to watch shows and I use an HDMI cord to cast it, not really cast it, but like transfer it to my TV. The one I had was like going black and cracking, so I bought a new one. My streaming cost, I pay for an Apple TV and Peacock bundle. I mostly pay for this for Housewives, but I've been watching Housewives live more often. I don't have cable, but I do watch it live, don't ask. So I may end up actually letting this be the last month that I pay for streaming. I'm also watching Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV, but the last one comes on today. So I probably actually am just gonna cancel the subscription. And like I said before, just cancel the subscription. And if I wanna go on there and watch something and I'm not subscribed, then I'll resubscribe. But until then, I think I'm gonna cancel it. My virtual mailbox, this is also business related. In order to send emails, you need to have an address listed on the bottom of your emails in order to comply with some anti-spam act. And of course, I'm not going to put my apartment address on the bottom of emails that go out to anybody who decides to click the link in the description box and sign up for my freebies or purchase my digital products. That would be absolutely insane. Maintenance, so here's that Vaseline lip balm refund. I put it in maintenance instead of personal care. So I will go ahead and redo that. I also got so that's like, what's the difference, right? In maintenance and personal care? It's so difficult to know because I bought a clay mask, like a face mask, and I bought that mulberry silk headscarf, and then I returned a lip balm because it was like used. I don't know. I got to figure out, is that maintenance? Is that personal care? I guess it's maintenance, right? Personal care should be more like the sunscreen that was in there, lotion, moisturizer, things you need. But in a way, I think I need regular lip balm. Like, that's personal care. The rosy one, no, I didn't need it, but I returned it, so it's a net zero, right? Back-end tools was, again, more business-related stuff. I have a domain, tinawilliams.co, and that way I have an email address, hello@tinawilliams.co, and also like, I don't know, tina@tinawilliams.co, I don't know. But anyway, in order to have email, I had to pay $7.60 for the year. I had to pay for parking, that was $6 this month. I spent $386 on car stuff, which was what? Let me see if I can figure this out before I click on it. What kind of car stuff did I spend $3 on? Oh, I bought this like car cleaning gel from Temu. It's like cleans the nooks and crannies. It's pretty cool. Excel, this was a bill also that I think I probably got like a $45 gift card from a taste test, and I put most of that money towards my Excel bill. I only had to pay $250, and then I ended up paying only $162 towards my installment fee. The other amounts here, they cancel each other out. I think probably why I only paid $162 for my car insurance is because the cost was cheaper, because I think I put a gift card towards it, right? Yeah, $148.47. That's why it wasn't $2 this month. But I talked about this before. I opened a checking account in a second to get a bonus. I opened an account at Royal Credit Union. I'll put a link in the description box. It's not an affiliate link. I have no affiliation with it. They are, I believe, local to Minnesota. They might be in Wisconsin. However, I opened mine online, did everything online. What they require in order to get your $400 bonus is that you get 2 direct deposits of at least $400 in, I don't know the time frame. I just got my second $400 direct deposit, and I will be closing the account once I get my $400 bonus. They said the $400 bonus will be deposited into the account within 10 days. If you want to sign up and get your $400 bonus, if you think that would work for you, you can sign up to that account. I have no affiliation, I make no promises, but for me, it's great. And I will talk more about my $400 bonus in the next budget with me. And the only inflow positive we have is emergency mode 908. So that's kind of where my money went for this month in May. As I said, I am a new grad dental hygienist working in Minneapolis, and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment by myself in uptown Minneapolis. So, I mean, it's not cheap to live here, $18-17 a month plus $150 for parking, but it's not super duper expensive. You know, times they are changing, right? You might think it's expensive, you might not, depending on where you're from. I seem to remember that in Texas, which is where I'm from, apartments would be so expensive. I bet a comparable apartment in Texas would cost more. I think so. I don't know for sure because it's been over 11 years since I've lived there, but I really do think it would cost more. Leave me any questions that you have in the comments. Otherwise, I will see y'all next time. Peace.